Okay, recently there's been a lot of different kinds of materials that's hit the market for tying flies with. One of those materials is something called the mop. A gentleman by the name of Jim Estes in North Carolina bought some of this material from the dollar store, started tying some flies with it, and it's proven to be a great pattern. Since his original mop fly, this mop material has been used to tie any number of different kinds of patterns and different styles of pattern. This particular pattern is called the Mop Dragonfly. It is an excellent bluegill fly and does also catch bass. I'm going to tie this on a mustad hook. It's a size 8. And it's a 3366. You don't have to use the mustad. You can use any other kind of hook that's equivalent. I just like this hook. It has a pretty good size gap to it, and it does catch bluegill. Bluegill do not swallow it, so that's another reason that I like it. For thread, I'm going to be using some olive. This happens to be 12-aught. 8-aught would be fine. This is a Vivus thread, and it's a very strong thread. Does a nice job in wrapping and doesn't create too big of a diameter. Okay, we'll lay a base end down about the gap, and then about the barb, and then I'm going to bring that back up behind the bead chain eyes. For the body, we're going to use that material that I was talking about, the mop material. This happened to be in a chartreuse. I'm going to use a piece that I've already prepared. I have colored this with a black top and some green sides on the chartreuse bottom. I've used permanent markers to do that, and this will work pretty well. One of the nice things about this pattern is that you can color this mop material any color you want. You can use different color mop materials. It's just a nice material to work with to do these kinds of things. I'm going to have that just a little bit longer than the shank, and I'm going to tie it in right behind the bead chain eyes. So I'm going to clip off some of this, and then I'm going to tear some of this material off. Okay, then I'm going to place it in there behind bead chain eyes, make a couple soft wraps, and a couple more harder wraps. I'm going to make sure that my black material stays on top. Okay, I'm going to tie this in very nice and snug, nice and tight. I'm going to go all the way back to about the point. Okay, I'm going to let my thread hang there at the beginning of the body. And at this point, I'm going to put in some rubber legs. Now, the original pattern did not call for rubber legs, but I put them in and gives them a little bit more action. It just gives the fly just a little better look. I'll tie this in right at the base of my mop material. Then I'm going to wrap it forward, catching the rubber leg with me as I go. Then I'm going to bring it back and wrap over it. So now I have two pieces of rubber moving towards the back. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the near side. Bring it forward, pull it back, and lash it into place. These legs are in good place. They won't pull loose. They've been locked into place. Now, the original pattern had a hackle at this point, so I'm going to include the hackle. I'm going to be using some olive. This is an old saddle hackle that I have. Has some useful hackles on it, not a lot. I'm going to take a piece, clip off the fuzz at the bottom, and I'm going to kind of preen it back so the barb will stand out. And I'm going to tie it in by the tip. Tie it in with the concave side down. I'm going to tie it in nice and snug. Okay, looks like I got a few stragglers here. Clip those off. Okay, for the thorax area, I'm going to put in some dubbing. And the dubbing I'm going to be using is some ice dubbing. This is an olive. I'm going to use this in the thorax area. Don't need too much, just enough to cover the area. Okay, we'll bring it back to the base of the body, and then we'll bring it forward. Okay, at this point I'm going to take my hackle pliers and I'm going to bring this hackle forward. Try to preen it back just a little bit. I'm going to be palmering this forward, which means I'm going to be moving it forward, not winding it all in one place. Okay, we got a pretty good hackle. Let's bring it forward one more time. Okay, we'll tie it off. And then we'll clip it off. Okay. I'm going to put just a little bit more dubbing to hide the underside of the bead chain eyes and to hold this hackle back. Okay, see if we can't get that little bit that's hanging in front there. Okay, we've got a nice base underneath. We got some stragglers hanging out here. Let's see if we can't get those clipped off. Okay. Okay, now for the shell back, I'm going to be using some thin skin. This is in a green, a molted green, or just regular green, either one. I've prepared a piece already. Cut a little groove in here to represent the wings. I'm going to lay it on top of the shank and go about halfway down the body. Okay, we'll make enough a couple wraps to hold it in place. Then I'm going to lift it up, pull it back, and try to get some wraps in front of it so we don't crowd our eye. A few more wraps behind. Then I'm going to bring the thread under the bead eyes, over the top of this thin skin a couple of times and then bring it back in front. Okay, that effectively has put this thin skin back on the back of the fly. Okay, make sure we got it up on top. And we'll cut off the excess. And let's form our eye, our head. Making sure we cover up all that thin skin that may be showing. Okay, we can whip finish. Up our thread. Then we take our legs and we're going to clip those just a little bit longer than the body. Okay, we got a few stragglers hanging. We got one over here. Okay. And there we have the Mop Dragonfly.